welcome to Lovin' Life's Journey DIY. I'm Chantel. Thank you so much for being here. It is so good to be back crafting. I have actually been gone for a while. I went to Columbus, Ohio to visit our family. We have our two daughters, a son-in-law, and our grandson who live there. And so it was just fun for me to get to spend some time with them. Unfortunately, Chris wasn't able to go with me this time, but I did vlog the whole trip. And so if you want to see all of the fun things that we did in Columbus, Ohio, or you're just curious what are some of the things to do in Columbus are, I do have that vlog up on my other channel, which is just called Lovin' Life's Journey. And I will put the link to that video and the channel in the description box. Today I am going to be DIYing with these cookie sheets. They're just aluminum sheets from Dollar Tree, and I am going to be transforming them into a rustic farmhouse high-end mirror that I think you're going to love. Before we do that, I do want to say thank you to Belle Lily for sending me this cute shirt and sponsoring this video. I will put the link to their website as well as a coupon code in the description box below so you can check them out. And now let's get crafting.
For this project, I will be using 4 packages of these aluminum cookie sheets from Dollar Tree and 1 of these round mirrors, also from Dollar Tree. Each package of cookie sheets comes with 2 in a package, and these are pretty flimsy, so I am actually going to glue these together just to give it a little bit more stability. And to do this, I am going to be using some E6000. I wouldn't recommend using hot glue because it's going to leave ridges that are going to show in the foil or the aluminum. So I think that the E6000 works better. I'm going to spread it out and just make a thin layer and then press these together and put some heavy books on it and let them dry. And I'm going to repeat this with the 3 remaining packages of cookie sheets. So I cut out a couple of patterns for my petals, and I will put the dimensions of mine in the description box so you can look and see what sizes I used for mine. And then I am just going to use those patterns to trace onto the aluminum sheets. And it doesn't really have to write on the sheets because it just makes an indentation. I'm just using a ballpoint pen and I'm tracing around these. I'm going to cut out 12 large petals and 12 small petals. And like I said, you will need to use all 4 sets of the aluminum cookie sheets for this. Once I have those all traced out, I'm going to use an old pair of scissors just to cut these out. And it is really nice because you can use just regular scissors to cut these out. I like to cut the edge off of the trays first. It makes it a little bit easier. And I do recommend that you be very careful so you don't cut yourself. I have never cut myself doing this. It doesn't seem to be super sharp, but there is that potential, so you just want to be careful. I'm going to be using some different colors of gray paint. I'm using Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant, and then just a lighter gray acrylic paint. I'm also using this Truffle, which is a dark brown colored chalk paint. And my goal here is to make these petals not look like aluminum foil, so I'm going to be painting them. I'm going to be using a technique I kind of came up with to make these look more like galvanized metal. So I'm going to start with my dark gray chalk paint first, and you could just use acrylic paint. It doesn't have to be chalk paint. This is just what I have on hand. And I'm using an old paintbrush because this is kind of hard on your paintbrush because I'm just going to pounce that paint all over, and I'm going to twist and turn my brush as I'm doing this, and just to um, kind of make a mottled look on the petals, and I'm going to do this on all of my petals. Once I've done the dark gray on all of the petals, I'm going to come in with the light gray color, and I'm just going to do the same thing. And the petals do not have to be dry. You could have some wet paint on these. I like it to be a little bit dry, but it's okay if there are some wet spots because if it blends together a little bit, that's all right. So you can see I let some of the dark gray paint still show through, and now I'm going to mix the two colors of paint so I have kind of a medium shade of gray, and I'm going to go over it a third time. And I'm just building this up. It's adding dimension, and so I want all three colors to kind of show through and just give it that galvanized metal look. So now I want to make it look even a little bit more rustic. So I'm going to take a even lighter gray color of paint and just a old brush. This is a chip brush that I got from Dollar Tree that I think works great for dry brushing, and I am going to just dry brush a little bit of this really light gray paint across the petals because I want to lighten them up just a little bit. And next I'm going to come in with some of the truffle or dark brown color, and I am going to dry brush just on the edges, on the ends of the petals, and then maybe just a few spots here and there. This is to really give it that rustic look, make it look a little bit rusty or just really aged. And so even though I was lightening them up, now I'm adding that dark accent, and it's all of these different colors playing together that's really going to make this look more authentic and make it look more like galvanized metal. So next I'm going to prep my mirror for paint, and because this is a very slick plastic frame on this mirror, I am just running some sandpaper over the frame. This is going to help the paint stick to it better. And then after sanding, I'm going to take a damp paper towel and I am going to wipe off any of the residue left from the sandpaper. So at first I started to paint this with just a white paint. This is like a linen white chalk paint, but I decided that I did not really like how the white looked with the galvanized metal looking petals. And so I went ahead and finished painting this kind of as a primer coat on the mirror, but I'm actually going to change up the color and use a different color to paint this because as you can see, the white just doesn't really look great with those petals. So I went through my paint and I found this yellow chalk paint. This is called Summer Porch, I think is the color. And just a really pretty summery kind of vintage yellow color. And I think this is going to look really pretty. So I did give this a couple coats of the yellow paint and I'm really liking this color, but I do want to also give it kind of that rustic aged look. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my white chalk paint and I'm just going to dry brush a little bit of that on the frame. And I did get a little bit of paint on the mirror, and if that happens, you can scrape it off easily. Just be careful not to scratch the mirror because these are Dollar Tree mirrors. They're not super expensive or a high quality, but I just used a little tool and scraped off the paint and then wiped it clean with a paper towel. And then I am going to take the brown paint that I used to kind of make that rusty look on the petals, and I'm going to dry brush very lightly on the frame as well, just to kind of break up the yellow a little bit and give it more of an aged look so the whole piece looks cohesive. So now it's time to assemble this, and I am going to just be using some Gorilla Hot Glue in my glue gun. And I just want to say, if you are going to use this like outside on a porch, I wouldn't like put it out in the weather, but if it's like under a covered porch or something, I think that would be fine. I would just recommend sealing all of your petals as well as the frame of the mirror, and then I would use like E6000 to adhere all of the petals to the back of the mirror. But mine's going to be indoors, so I'm just using the Gorilla Hot Glue sticks. These are going to work great. So I am putting the first petal underneath the little hanger on the back because I want to use that hanger to be able to hang my mirror. And that little hanger is going to be perfectly fine because this is a very lightweight piece. It's not heavy at all. So then I'm going to take my second small petal. We're going to put the small petals on first. So I'm going to take the second small petal and put it straight across from that first petal that I just put on. And if you're using hot glue, I did find it made the aluminum sheets very hot. So using the little finger protectors from uh, Dollar Tree is recommended here. Then I'm going to take and put two petals across from each other so that I have them all evenly spaced, and you can see how I'm doing that here. And then I'm going to glue two small petals in between each of the petals that are on there already. So there's a total of 12 petals and they're spaced out evenly. Next, I'm going to glue my large petals on, and these are going to go in between the small petals. So you'll be able to see here, I am just putting them on top, but I am putting them kind of in between. So they're centered in between the two smaller petals. And I am just going to put all 12 petals around this in the same way so that they're all spaced evenly. If you used E6000 to glue your petals on, you'll want to wait until that glue is dry before you pick this up, but mine is dry pretty quickly with the hot glue. And so for the last step, I'm just going to bend my petals up just a little bit to give them a little bit of dimension so it doesn't look so flat. And that is it. This project is finished and I am super happy with how it came out. If you like these faux metal flowers, I do have several other videos where I have made different styles of faux metal flowers. I will put the links to those down below, and also in the card above, I'll put a link to that video as well. Let me know in the comments below if you have made any faux metal DIY projects. I'd love to hear about those. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell to set your notifications so that YouTube will notify you every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a blessed day.